I'm now going to analyze the organization's culture through the use of Denison's cultural model. So, in regard to the mission, the organization's mission statement basically states that Goodwill works to enhance people's dignity and quality of life by strengthening their communities, eliminating their barriers to opportunity, and helping them reach their full potential through learning and the power of work. That's a direct quote from goodwill.org. In regards to the organization strategy, I would say from my personal experience is that we try to undercut similar companies like Salvation Army. We try to undercut our prices and provide more community programs for the local people in the community. And so we ensure that people who are donating or buying stuff from our store continue to do so since they know that they're helping people within the local area. According to the Harvard Business Review, Goodwill strategy revolves around three main priorities. One, empowering individuals in the community we serve. Two, ensuring a self-sustaining community enterprise. And three, having a positive impact on the environment. So the organization goals and objectives are basically that we want to support members of the community, all while making enough money to support our programs and our company. They also focus on making a positive impact on the environment, like I stated before. If we can save one item from being in a landfill, we're going to try to do that. So the organization's vision for the future is basically to expand our district to more locations in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. Actually, within the next month, we should have a new store opening in Greenville. And by the end of 2021, we hope to open one or two more stores within our district. We also hope to consistently be one of the only nonprofits in Ohio that are a multi-million-dollar locally owned nonprofit, so we can support new community programs and obviously protect the environment. So in regards to the mission, strategy, goals, and objectives, and vision, I would say that Goodwill is aligned in this regard. We stick pretty much to our mission statement, and our future and our goals are all encompassed by our original mission statement. So in regard to consistency, the core values of Goodwill, according to goodwill.org, is that we try to treat people with respect and dignity. Stewardship, we honor our heritage by being socially, financially, and environmentally responsible. Ethics, we strive to meet the highest ethical standard. Learning, we challenge each other to strive for excellence and continually learn. Innovation, we embrace continuous improvement and creativity and change. So that's a direct quote from goodwill.org. From my personal experience, I would say that some of our core values are basically hard work leads to success, and that people and things deserve second chances. We are one of the very few places that actually allow felons to get a job with us. If we can offer somebody opportunities to become a better person, we're going to try to. So is there an agreement around how issues are handled? I would say yes. If there is an issue within our store regarding a customer, we will first ask what the customer wants to do. If they want to make a formal complaint about something, we will first get their information. We will write down the incident, and then we will send it to one of our district managers or our director of operations and HR. We usually typically CC them on whatever email that is, but we will file it for the future, and we will give them the information so they can contact the customer again. If there's an issue with an employee, we try to deal with it in store. We try to avoid the corporate ladder. If unfortunately we can't deal with it inside of the store, we will then pass it on to the people that should deal with it. We try to avoid that though, seeing as we do work as a family unit, basically, we try to deal with it in store before we reach out and make the problem bigger than what it is. So is there coordination across the different areas of the organization? Unfortunately, I would say that there is not. There's not a lot of communication between corporate and the stores. They have one or two corporate meetings a week, and unfortunately that doesn't really include the workers. It just includes managerial staff. So whatever information they reach kind of trickles down through the ranks to the workers in the store. So even if they do get the information, there is different goals and objectives for each position at Goodwill. So there's not a lot of coordination because we're all dealing with different things. We are just working on what we need to work on in order to meet the goals of the organization. So there's not a lot of coordination when it comes to that. So are the organization's structures, processes, and systems aligned with the core values of the organization? I would say no. While we do respect others and we try to be ethical, I would say that the innovation aspect of Goodwill is lacking in some regard. We definitely do stick to what we know works, and there really is no consistency when it comes to the operation or communication within the organization, which really disrupts the core values, which is kind of bad. In regard to involvement, are employees empowered with the appropriate information to do their jobs? I would say yes and no. Like I said, the information does trickle down from corporate, but unfortunately, they don't give us enough resources to do our jobs correctly. So, for example, during the pandemic, when we were all shut down, we actually had 500 donations a day on average. They were not giving us enough of the Gaylords in order to actually keep the donations. So it was just a mess. We actually started moving stuff into the stores, and even though there was a communication from my manager to corporate and saying, hey, we need more of these items so we can take donations, it wasn't met. And unfortunately, that was one of the really, really big issues during the pandemic. Is there a team orientation towards the organization's goals? I would say no. Our team is basically focused on our team. It's like I said before, it's basically a family unit. So when one of us has a goal to meet, we're all working towards that goal for them, not necessarily the organization, if that makes sense. We don't really have a deep connection to the organization itself, but to our coworkers. We want to see the best out of all of us. So if there's anything that I can do or somebody else can do in order to make somebody look competent at their job or that they're doing their job correctly, we're going to do it because that's what they need to be done. It's not necessarily the organization itself. So is there an opportunity for employees to develop new skills and capabilities? Actually, I would say yes, 110%. Goodwill actually tries to hire and promote within their company, and they also try to provide their companies with a range of, or their employees with a range of different transferable skills. So if you needed to get a tow motor certification, you could actually use that at a number of different companies, not just at Goodwill. So if you ever use a tow motor and you want to leave Goodwill and end your employment, you'll be able to use that at a separate company. So in regard to adaptability, is the organization flexible regarding change? I would say no. If there is a change that happens, typically what happens is that we regress our policies in order to meet the bottom line. It's very common for us to have a change within the organization, but we typically go back to what we know works. Especially when you do have people that worked there for 18 years, the new changes aren't going to be instantaneous like corporate would want. It's going to take some time, and there has to be a process to introducing the changes to these people. So does the organization have a customer focus in which customer needs and wants are understood? I think 110% yes. Our customers typically have a level 2 relationship with us. I know basically all the people that come in, it's very rare that we don't know our customers, and from that trust that we've gained through talking to them and seeing them on a daily basis, we listen to what they want, what they need. And actually, even with people that I don't know, recently our cash registers shut down, and obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic. Not a lot of people are carrying around money. So in order to make customers happy and feel like they're not wasting their time, and that they have a good experience at our store, we actually just charged everybody 25 cents for all of their items for 2 days because we didn't have anything so they could pay. So we kind of try to make it as cheap as possible just in case they had $2 lying in their coat pocket that they forgot about, just to ensure that they were having, a good experience. So is there an opportunity for organizational learning? I would say yes, but we basically gain organizational learning through talking and time. So the transferable skills that you learn about our culture come from the people that have been working there for years. You basically talk to your peers, and that's where you learn the organization's culture. Through time, you kind of become part of that culture, and that's basically how we transfer our culture onto new hires. So is the organization involved in innovation and risk-taking? So I understand that this is a core value of Goodwill, but unfortunately no. And like I said before, we typically regress our policies in order to meet the bottom line. While we do introduce new ideas, we typically follow previous policies that we know work. There's not a lot of risk-taking within the company because there's not a lot of opportunity, I guess you could say, for improvement. Goodwill is a goodwill, and I think that's how corporate feels now, unfortunately. So in regard to our group findings, is the organization's beliefs and assumptions internally or externally focused? I would say that we are more externally focused. They mainly focus on the mission, while involvement is one of the main priorities of Goodwill. I would say that the mission is what pushes us to interact with the community. So is the organization beliefs and assumptions flexible or stable? I would say that we are pretty stable, even though we have had changes within the organization, even though they might have not stuck. The one thing that is consistent no matter what is the mission statement of the original founder. We will consistently follow that mission because it lets us be Goodwill, basically. Our main mission is to help people in the community. What we do is just create community programs, and without that mission statement not being stable, we would not be able to do that.